Yeah, so I just thought I'd tell you a little bit about my journey and I guess sort of coming out towards the back end of the 5 years, which is the initial franchise period. Similar story to Graham, started off in corporate life, came up the finance route, ended up running a business, ran a business in private equity. Unfortunately didn't make the millions because we bought the business just before the credit crunch, and then eventually I got the heave-ho by the private equity guys. And came across Business Doctors when I was looking at what to do next, and actually got to the point where I'd signed my agreement, and on the day I signed the agreement I did get the offer to go and run a family-run business, and I phoned Rod up and said, I'm really sorry, I'm not coming. Having paid over my 10 grand I think at the time, and I said to my wife, we may not get that back. Anyway, went off to do the family-run business, but 48 hours later I got my money back. And Rod said, well, maybe if it's not right now, it might be in a year's time. So I went to run the family business. It was an absolute disaster. And 12 months later, I changed my LinkedIn profile. And Rod phones me 24 hours later and says, I've seen your LinkedIn profile's changed. Do you want to have a conversation? And we, it took me another 2 or 3 months to make my mind up, but eventually did that. And I guess did lots of due diligence, all of that sort of stuff, and eventually came to the conclusion that it was probably more of a heart decision than a head decision. Was it really something I wanted to do? Did I feel I had the skill sets and the experience to do it? And really, I could have done as much head stuff as I wanted to, but I think it's something that comes back to the why, I guess, is about do you really want to do it? A couple of questions that were asked, I think was sort of was going to pick up anyway in my piece, was it took me 6 months to find my first client, and to be honest, after 3 months I was starting to get worried. I thought, why aren't they buying from me? I've got this wonderful experience, and don't they know what I've done and who I am? And I think Graham says they don't really, potential clients don't really care until they really need, they do need you. So what I did get in that first 6 months was a huge amount of collaborative support. And I would say 5 years later, that support is even better now, because we've actually got a regional structure in place now, whereby you have regional directors like myself and Kevin and Son, where we actually help and support new franchisees. But that first 6 months is tough. I didn't help myself because I went on holiday for a month, thinking again that the business would be really easy to set up and start. And the reality is it's not. Although you're buying a franchise and you are getting that initial leg up, it is your own business, and you have to treat it as such. And I was a little bit laissez-faire and a bit cocky about how quickly I would find clients. But the client acquisition model works. So lots of networking for 3 months, built up a network of about 500 people, different shapes and sizes in terms of businesses and potential referral partners, and then ran our seminars and workshops. I ran about 4 in the space of 6 to 8 weeks, and they're very educational in content. And they provide lots of information, knowledge around strategic planning and business valuations, all sorts of stuff like that. And we create light bulb moments where hopefully 20% of the people in the room, it resonates, and then you then follow up and you find that you get 1 or 2 clients out of each seminar or workshop that you run. I've done combinations. So the first 3 I ran with my own, or Business Doctors. So you get a lot of support again from the centre around actually running them, and you get what I would call the safety net. So Matt came to a couple, another Business Doctor came to one, to act almost as a safety net, and we have some good material that to actually help run those. But yeah, I've run them with NatWest. I've run with them a firm of accountants, a solicitor's firm, a marketing agency. So you find that typically you get a good reputation for the quality of the material and the delivery and so on, that other people want to be part of it. What you tend to find actually is you sometimes get let down by those partners who don't bloody market it like they say they will do, and you end up finding that most of the people in the room are people that you've brought, so you have to be a bit careful on that. But I was going to say that, I think you're doing 2 things. You're building 2 brands, your own personal brand and the Business Doctors brand. And the reality is most people buy you, not Business Doctors, alone, but I think the combination of the 2 works incredibly well. And you start day one with a credible brand that you can then really leverage and build on. So 6 months in, really started to get some traction, and then probably for the next 2 years I worked with on average at any one time 10 to 15 clients, starting with the strategic review piece, and then following that on with implementation stuff that is related to my own particular skill set. So I'm finance, operation piece, stay well clear of sales. But and what you find is most clients don't have the time, the inclination, or the skill set to do some of the stuff that needs doing. And really, what you're trying to do is address one of those three things. And then gradually what I've found over my 5 years is you then start to find that you have fewer clients but deeper relationships. So, so I now only have 6 clients. But one of those clients, they asked me if I wanted to invest in them, which I did do 2 years ago. Having spent a year with them, so it was a fairly good period of due diligence to decide whether it was worth it or not. So I made a small equity investment, and then as often happens, the 2 business partners fell out with each other, so I helped negotiate an amicable parting of that, and as part of that, I then put more money in, and then a year ago, well, earlier on this year, we went out and borrowed quite a lot of money to really give it a go. So I've sort of now spent 3 days a week with one client and 2 days a week with the other clients, and now have a sizable equity investment in this one client. I guess in some ways they're not really a client now because I'm emotionally and financially invested in. But the great thing about Business Doctors is you can do that. You know, you can manage your time how you want to. I'm very transparent with Rod and Matt. I invoice everything through my Business Doctors company, and very transparent about that's where I'm spending my time. And in some ways, actually, it helps me with my Business Doctors stuff because I'm now sat in exactly the same position as some of my clients are worrying about the loan I've taken out and whether we can pay it back or not, and all of that stuff. So in some ways, you can bring that experience to the fore when you're working with your clients. And yeah, so I think, you know, for me, it's been, you know, after the abortive attempt to start, great 5 years. I've worked with manufacturing, retail, professional services. I can't remember the gentleman, sorry, I forgot your name. I was talking about a client. I've got a client who's got a £6 million turnover business selling products on Amazon and eBay. When I got introduced to him, I know absolutely nothing about online sales, online selling, but that wasn't really what he wanted. He wanted somebody to help him think about how he structured his business properly and financed it properly. Now I've actually got some knowledge of online marketing, which I can now, you know, help other clients with. So you tend to find that you're learning yourself as well on the job. You know, the client, you always learn something from a client, don't you? You know, there's always something that you think, oh, great, I can bring that to you know, to my next client. So yeah. I'm after that first year, which was a challenge. I've earned, you know, 6-figure plus for the last 3 years out of it. But allied to that, and I did need to earn money out of it, is, you know, I choose who I work with, what I work with, and if I need to go and see my daughter play netball, guess what? I can. Whereas with my son, I never got to see him play football at all because I was flying all around Europe. So there is a big part, I think, in why we do what we do is about the way in which you're able to manage and balance your time. If there are frustrations in it, sometimes clients don't do what you think they should do, and you know, and at the end of the day, you have to accept it's their business, unless you decide to take equity, and then you can influence what actually happens. But largely, you know, we advise, cajole, challenge and support, but at the end of the day, sometimes it is a little frustrating when you can absolutely see what needs doing and you say, for Christ's sake, just let me get on and do it. But at the end of the day, it's their business and you have to be invited in to help them. But you can make a huge difference very quickly. And I say the 6 clients I've got today, I've worked with now for 3 years, so you end up being almost part of the furniture. I often say I don't want to overstay my welcome, because I think, you know, you have to make sure you're continually adding value during that time, but you do become very ingrained into your clients' businesses. What you tend to find is on the implementation side, you gravitate to where your skills are. So for me, I've done a lot of work around operations, finance, leadership. You know, I haven't done anything on sales other than the sales part, the strategic planning. But you know, if it was to come in and coach the sales director or the sales manager, that's not me. But what I will have is a network of people, either within Business Doctors, because I know the skill sets, and we have a matrix of of experience and skill sets. Or, probably equally importantly, I'll have a network of people and organisations that I've worked with in the past, or which I'll be happy to refer them in. So I've got a digital, a marketing digital agency that I've put into about 6 clients, and an HR consultant. You know, I don't mind the people stuff, but I'm not doing T's and C's and job descriptions and all of that. So I've got an HR consultant that I'll put in. And the great thing is that you're referring them and then they're referring you. You just have to be very careful about who you do refer into your clients, because I've had one that cocked up the relationship no end. So, but where it works really well, because the client thinks, because you've referred somebody really good into them, and then you take some of the gloss of that as well.